To KTN Prime, thank you for staying with us. As hinted earlier, it's now time for studio deliberations, and I'm joined by three legislators who I might say are youthful, and some of them have been canvassing the country over the weekend in a bid to popularize their individual bids, but equally as they throw their stake into the national landscape. So we'll take a look at the latest developments that have played out. Of course, talk of town is all to do with Edwin Sifuna and the Linda Mwananchi movement, who had a homecoming in Western Kenya, specifically Trans Nzoia and Bungoma counties on Saturday and Sunday. Is it a wave? How will they sustain the momentum? What about the agenda? Well, we'll canvass those issues, including other emerging issues across the country when you take a look at Kenya's political and governance landscape. There's been talk of ethnic slurs. Some CSs have been put on sharp focus, but at the end of the day, is NCIC simply a toothless dog? And equally, we saw President William Ruto on Sunday in Busia County, and perhaps it shows the impetus that Western Kenya, at the end of the day, will have in terms of cementing the race come 2027. So much to talk about. Allow me to introduce the legislators joining me in studio as we get this discussion rolling. I'm joined by the Mukurweini Member of Parliament, none other than John Kagushia. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Karibu sana.
A pleasure.
I assumed you'd be in Meru and Embu following the DCP party leader.
I've been in Meru,
yes,
actually.
Yes.
And when I was called by your producer, Lydia, I was actually in Meru. I have also been in Mukurweini today.
Okay.
And I had to cut short my tour of duty to come and address Kenyans through your KTN studios. Thank you.
Asante for honoring the invite. I hope everything in Mukurweini is spick and span.
Yeah, Mukurweini is good. Mukurweini is one term, and people are looking forward to 2027 to do away with this government.
I see what you did there. And you came up with a term. Is it the All Kalau what?
The All Kalau effect. That is going to be felt in and out of this country for many years to come. The All Kalau effect.
We'll see if that is really true. We're equally joined by Clive Gisairo, who's a Member of Parliament of Kitutu Masaba constituency. Clive, karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you with us. We saw you busy in Western Kenya. Were you part of the Linda Mwananchi brigade that was traversing Trans Nzoia, Bungoma counties? How's the homecoming generally?
Yeah, I've always been a member of the Linda Mwananchi, right from the time it was Kenya Moja, while Baba was alive.
Yeah.
And we've seen it grow. And this time we are going to Edwin Sifuna's backyard. And I can tell you that my friend Kitur and their government are on their way out.
Okay, the voters will decide come 2027, but can't wait to get tidbits of information on how that particular tour of Western Kenya was. We're equally joined by Bernard Kitur, who's a Member of Parliament for Nandi Hills constituency. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa. It's great to have you with us after some time.
Thank you very much. A great pleasure indeed to be here again.
Yeah.
I hope we are going to have a very interesting discussions this evening.
Definitely looking forward. How are the people of Nandi Hills?
We are doing very well.
Okay.
I think there's several programs that and promises that we made to the people of Nandi Hills. Most, if not 90%, most of it are being, some we have accomplished, some are still in the process of being accomplished. And I appreciate more sincerely the government of President William Ruto, broad-based government, that most of the projects that are even happening in my own constituency equal happens in the constituencies of my colleagues as well, courtesy of the government of President William Samoei Ruto.
I would like to know when he last passed in my constituency.
When is that?
I would like to know because he's spoken.
Do you have housing programs? Do you have markets? Do you have roads being made?
I don't have any markets.
Do you have any roads being made?
None.
You have housing?
That's what I'm telling you. I don't comment on. You've just been operating between Nairobi and Nandi Hills.
Okay. Well, everyone will speak for themselves right here. But Gisario, I'd like to begin with you because a lot of focus has been on the Linda Mwananchi forays. They had a homecoming in Bungoma County. Edwin Sifuna declared a couple of things during that particular movement around Western Kenya. Let's start with the symbolic nature of this particular visit. Others say he is not yet ripe for presidency. Others say his time has come. Looking at the movement across the 2 days, what's your first-hand evaluation of Sifuna's Western tour, and is how Linda Mwananchi is actually looking to anchor its national ambitions in Western Kenya, including other regions? Yeah.
Firstly, I would like to say that for the first time, we can confidently say that Western, the Luhya nation, was able to be seen to speak the same language. That has been a major challenge in the previous years because it has always had a number of kingpins. And even if you look at the current government, you have the Speaker of the National Assembly, you have the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Those are not men who've always worked together. They all hold their own chiefdoms. And with that, they've been using that to bargain to get into any government. But as it were, you find that while we were there this weekend, we were having two youthful, can we also call them, influential persons who are being seen as the potential, right, leaders of the community. That is being one, Governor Natembeya, and Edwin Sifuna on the other side. And it looks like, by what we saw, that Natembeya now has decided that it's time that that community is seen as one, and therefore he said he's going to shelve his ambitions and support their son, Edwin Sifuna, to be the lead of that community in whatever discussions that have to be had nationally. And our tour this weekend is just one of the many that will still come, because we've been going through around the country, and it was time now to go to Sifuna's home county, because the people are seeing how much is getting love from out here, the other counties, and yet they were not seeing their son back at home. So we felt like it was the right time for us to go back there and also have them see their son before allowing him to continue with the journey that we had started.
Okay, and speaking of Edwin Sifuna, we have a statement of what he said while in Bungoma County. Let's just listen in, and then we come back and evaluate whether he's putting the cart before the horse, because that's been part of the political talk out there in regards to the Nairobi senator. Here's a tidbit of what he had to say.
I kept my promise to my boss. Ni wao wamenifukuza mimi, sio mimi nimevunja chama cha ODM. Sasa ni dhahiri kwamba hawa watu wameuzia chama Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto. Kwa hivyo nataka niombe ruhusa yenu hapa Bungoma leo. Nataka niombe ruhusa yenu hapa Bungoma. Wale wote ambao mlikuwa mnaamini chama cha ODM, simturuhusu tutafute njia nyingine.
Okay, so it's evident that a split with ODM is not a question of if, but when. So speak to ODM's influence in Western Kenya from where you sit, but equally this issue of evaluating Sifuna's readiness to go to the national political stage. When you look at the metrics of a national leader, just generally, influence, experience, finances, how do you gauge his readiness?
First of all, I think ODM has been having two factions from, let's say, actually even from before when Baba died. There was that divergent view of the broad-based arrangement. And that is when Kenya Moja started, which was Edwin Sifuna, myself, Caleb Amisi, Barongo, Kibagendi, and a few others, that we had a divergent view that we shouldn't really join government. We should continue playing our legislative and oversight roles from the House and from the minority side. So once they went there, respectively, we did differ on that. And that's when we started moving around as a small group, visiting each other's constituency and passing our message. After Baba passing on, of course, there was a break, the mourning period, after which a group called Linda started moving around, which was heavily controlled and financed by the President William Ruto. They quickly, of course, put Honorable Oburu Odinga as their party leader, and we could clearly see that it was a side that was heavily managed and had technically become part of UDA in all manner of actions and behaviors, and also the financing. And then, so as we continued our messaging as Linda Mwananchi, right? And that has attracted a certain, mainly the millennials and the Gen Zs, because we brought up the hope that they were giving up from their 2024 call of proper governance, opportunities for the young people, which are not there. And they were seeing that their voice will just go unheard. So we kept that spirit, and we've been moving on. What Edwin said, remember, he was the Secretary General of the party. He was the Deputy Minority Leader in the Senate. All those, because of his stand and staying by the beliefs that he had while even Baba was alive. And Baba kept saying Sifuna speaks on behalf of the party, meaning whatever he's saying is not anything that is going against the party. But now, because Baba was not there, Sifuna, of course, became exposed. And they've used all mechanisms to ensure that, first of all, they got rid of him as the Secretary General, and then now they managed to get him out of the leadership of the Senate. So yes, now it's within his rights, because you are now in a house, you're technically not wanted. So his statement is asking, the many people who are there actually ODM diehards, and they're like, I need your permission now to look for an alternative way, because I'm now staying outside. I've been thrown out of the house. So the issue about financing and all that, and can we sustain, we already, Linda Mwananchi has a base. It is not a tribal party. It's not yet a party, but it's not a, it's not a group that is based on a certain tribe. Because when you listen to the united opposition and all that, there is, Kalonzo will say, I have the Ukambani base. Rigathi will say, I have the Murima base, right? Fred will say, I have the Gusii, right? Sifuna cannot wake up and say, I have the Luhya base. Because even before he went to Western, we've been traversing the country and we've seen the love. We were in Taita Taveta, the crowds were massive. We have been to Mombasa, Kajiado, Narok, Kisii, and everywhere. He is talking to a certain generation. So the issue of financing has always been used to dampen the spirit of those who really want to go for some of these seats.
Okay.
I don't think that will be.
So in your view, Sifuna's base is?
It's spread.
Cut across.
It's cut across the country.
Age.
Mainly it's age. We have the millennials and the Gen Zs as the main base. Then also we have the employed people who believe that he's actually talking to them. He's addressing them. And then now, of course, naturally, the community, seeing what their son is able to achieve out there, is now coming in as a big support base.
Okay, Kithure, I'd like your take on it, because from outside looking in, we've heard of so many comments, including previously from President William Ruto, who once said, na ukiona umepata barua kwa ODM, unajua mambo yako sasa ndio imeanza kuiva. Perhaps hinting at a seasoned politician capitalizing on strained relations within the party to catapult themselves to the national political stage. Is this the case with Sifuna from where you sit? Is he a passing cloud? What's your political evaluation?
First of all, thanks for having us here today. Earlier, when you were doing the introductions, I was really very surprised when I heard my good friend, Clive Kisairo, talking about the people of Kitutu Masaba, that he doesn't have the big projects that all the other, most of us are really enjoying. And I've delivered to our people I was so appalled that you are a leader, you are in parliament. Parliament is the place where the budget is passed. You can be able to negotiate some of these programs for yourselves and deliver them to the people who elected you. It doesn't matter if you can be in opposition and you really lose the core function of why you are a leader. You are a leader so that you can be able to deliver your people. Mm-hmm. So today to have heard that my friend Clive Kisairo doesn't have all these big projects that we are all delivering to our people in various corners of the constituencies in our country is quite a shock on me, really. I'm really so
the
surprised.
president has
no,
trained
you are giving your time.
No,
you are giving your time. You. So no, I was just commenting on what you answered.
We're just starting. Yes.
All right, so it was actually a big shock for me on behalf of the people of Kitui.
Housing projects are not passed in parliament, just applying to the people.
However, coming to the conversation now on the table on the issue of Linda Mwananchi and of course our friend Sifuna, I have taken time, really, honestly, to try and listen to the agenda. What is this vision that you are bringing in that is quite different, greatly different from what the current regime is, each and every day delivering to our Kenyan people? I heard him the other day in a studio, and to my shock, you hear somebody say that we don't want housing programs because we will not have space for our chicken to be able to go to 12th floor, and those kinds of cheap talk. I heard someone say that instead of having built these houses, you would rather have been able to bring that cement and use it to build hospitals, not knowing that, of course, the hospitals are also still being built. And Clive lying, straight to the camera and saying that he doesn't appeal to his community back in the villages. He's saying, first of all, he's appealed here and back to the community. He went back to his community. Everybody has their own base. And when I heard Sifuna having that kind of a cheap talk, it took me back to now try to understand what kind of a leader do we need to have in our country. It took me to the point of, I think to be a leader, you must have some bit of experience, whether in public service or having been in this space where you can be able to understand the entire region in entirety. It's not this quick fire, this excitement. I take time to really listen to them when they are whether Bungoma or all these rallies.
Yes,
sometimes you hear somebody say, you called maybe, I am Clive Kisairo, or I'm Bernard Kitur, Mimini, so and so. So are those sloganeering the real thing that brings in the real change that our nation really needs? I think, in my view, when the rubber will meet the road, when the time will come for the serious decision-making by the Kenyan people will actually talk of what President William Ruto has been talking about all this time through, the issue of a proper, cogent manifesto, a proper plan, a proper vision for this country. They should be telling us something better than taking Kenyans beyond Singapore. That would even be more a selling point. And therefore, bring in, whether it's health sector, whether it's education, whether it's roads, whether it's all these programs that will transform our country. I think that is the real discussion that needs to be put in place. As to the appeal to the youth and Gen Zs, I would like to hear a better program than Nyota. Probably a better program than what has been happening in having many Kenyans probably go abroad. What are the jobs that were created, say, through affordable housing programs, and all the other things that the government has been able to bring in place. So when you are not able to bring in anything better than that which President William Ruto right now is putting in place, I think it's quite sad. So in my view, this excitement is good. It will happen. You used to see Raila Odinga would pull even crowds 3 times what they are doing. I saw even in Western, Kimilili, a member of parliament, Didmas Baraza, he's pulled a massive, huge crowd. I've been to Western, and Western is one of the interesting places where you want to do, a rally there, because they will come, they will support you, they will be very exciting. So when they only have one event like what happened in Bungoma, Clive here is really extremely excited that things are looking up. But let's look at it. There's still time. I think Kenyans, when the time will come, they will really be able to analyze and see what is really good for them for the proper leadership of
So
their
from
country.
where you sit, they've missed the opportunity to articulate their agenda. Other alternatives apart from calling out the excesses or the ills in this administration, yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay, interesting. Kagushi, as you come in, and this is criticism that has been forwarded towards the United Alternative government, including the DCP party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, of who you closely associate with. At the end of the day, William Ruto is keen on ensuring that his development track record will speak for itself, and that's how he thinks voters will approach the 2027 polls. Let's talk about the United Opposition. Number one, the agenda that perhaps seems lacking from your competitors. But equally, since Gachagua took his 45-day political conclave, the oomph, the fight within the United Opposition seems to have died down. We haven't seen many political meetings, apart from Linda Mwananchi, apart from a few photo ops here and there from the United Opposition principals. Why is this? Is the unity in contention from where you sit perhaps break down as we evaluate what Sifuna means?
Well, thank you very much. First, I would like to advise my good friend from Nandi Hills here, Kitur. Kitur is a fine gentleman. He's a young man who seems to have a very good and bright political future. When I came to Parliament, I think he's one of the guys whom we made friends with very fast. And I would like to advise him. Where he sits, he's on a sinking sand. And the ship he is using today already got some holes, and it is going to be sinking sooner than later. And there will be nowhere to hide. So I'd like to advise my friend Kitur, please run for your life. As the Gesairo here, myself, and these are the younger leaders you see, we think you're a good leader. And you should be able to look at the situation as it is, cut your losses, and join the winning team so that you save your political career. You know, the man you are blowing the trumpet for as having an agenda is a man who has made this country hopeless. I just want to give you some statistics. I'm reading this from the housing, the affordable housing website, board website. We have collected, or the government has collected, 125 billion Kenya shillings from workers' payslips since July 2023. This is as per the Affordable Housing Board's own disclosures. 2,075 houses have been completed between July 2022 and June 2025, as per the board's own report to the Treasury. It means that 60 million has been collected for every single house delivered. You know, if you look at that calculation. Only 0.8% of the annual 250,000 unit target was actually achieved. 68% of the 394 ongoing projects sit on land without complete, verifiable ownership documents, per the Auditor General's special audit report. 14 projects out of 394 are the only ones that have a valid title deed. Now, if you sit here and you want to talk about affordable housing as one of the agendas that we need to give an alternative to, then we are lost. Affordable housing agenda is as collapsed as any other thing. It's one of the projects that any new government that comes on board must first do away with, particularly on collections from Kenyans. We've already collected so much money from Kenyans. Government doesn't even know how to use that money. It is put in treasury bills. And so what we think, and any government that comes on board, will have to get a way of using that money as a revolving fund for the housing and stop collections henceforth from Kenyans. And of course, replenish from the sales, if at all, from the houses that are already built and that are going to be built. The other thing that we must stop William Ruto from doing, which we know he is hell-bent to do, is to securitize these collections on housing. Because we know he wants to do this so that he can borrow so much money, waste all of it, and then sink this country into more debt and tie Kenyans' payslips for 20 to 25 years to come, to be paying that housing fund. My friend, if that is the agenda that we are talking about for the people of Kenya, if that is the agenda that we are saying we want to propagate, then I think we really have lost it completely. The agenda that, and the reason why the Linda Mwananchi and the alternative government are saying they want William Ruto to be out of power is because of propagating lies. It's because of propagating a country which is being run by goons. In fact, today, you know, we are calling Murkomen the CS for goons and national coordination of state terror. Today, he has left his docket of providing security to Kenyans, and he's running after innocent Kenyans through use of goonism, unfortunately. If that is the agenda that really we are talking about, truly we are lost as a country. We have so much money that has been collected as sharp. And instead of taking this money back to hospitals, you have seen what has happened. People in Olkalau were given mattresses, which were written GOK, which were written KNH.
And for hospitals.
You know, they were given shoes and blankets, which were written GOK. I mean, a person waking up in a bed from Olkalau was waking up like a person who is coming from a ward in a hospital, because they are sleeping on a mattress which is KNH, a blanket which is GOK, in a country where you're talking of an agenda. I mean, that is why the kind of a thunder that is going to hit William Ruto in 2027 is going to be bigger than what hit Moi and his cronies in 2002. Man, run for your life, my brother. You have a future. Talk to Gezairo nicely. Get into Linda Mwananchi if you have a problem of getting into Wamunyoro. So that you can have a political future that is showing some direction. I was in Meru yesterday. I spent my whole day there. We went to St. Teresa Catholic Church. And then, of course, we made some rounds in Meru County. We went to the interiors. And one of the messages that we are giving to Kenyans is a message of hope. And I can tell you, interestingly, even when we try to give the agenda that we have to Kenyans, the first hope they want to get is that we have capacity, we have the plan, we have the strategy, and we have the ability to remove Ruto from power. And this Olkalau thing, it has given Kenyans so much hope than what you can ever imagine. I would probably just want to touch on the Linda Mwananchi just very briefly, and say, Linda Mwananchi is coming up very well, and I'm happy what happened last weekend that finally Honorable Senator Sifuna is able to go back to his base. You know, when the bell is rung, somehow you will still find that as much as their movement is across the political divide and the ethnic divide, it is still very important for you as a leader to have some kind of a backing that you have somewhere. And it is very important what is happening in Western Kenya. What I heard Natembea do, he said, now I'm ready to endorse this young man to be the community leader. We probably need to have that coming from more and more of the Western leaders to support him, so that at least he can have some home base, some base at home which he can call his own, as he is now spreading his wings across. That is going to be very important. Of course, the other issue that will be also important with Linda Mwananchi is to also have a proper vehicle that they can also use, which is properly registered. Because right now, Linda Mwananchi is not a political party, and I know they are struggling with it because, of course, you know, William Ruto is not going to be allowing them to register Linda Mwananchi. So the team must very fast choose a vehicle that they are going to use so that they can now be able to bargain with these other political leaders. Because at the end of the day, there must be some round tables somewhere where the leaders who are in one-term movement are going to sit, agree, and produce a candidate and form some kind of an arrangement that brings on board Kenyans and also the Kenyans' aspirations, so that they can kick out William Ruto with one dose.
Okay,
2027.
the bills have to be paid. As we come back, we'll continue the conversation. But just from the sentiments shared, Gizairo, it's clear that perhaps the agenda question you need to answer, the political vehicle question of Linda Mwananchi, that's perhaps one of the expectations from the masses, and it would be good to know what plans are in place to ensure there's a political outfit ahead of 2027. Well, we'll be hearing from Kithure as well as he responds to some of the issues that have been raised. Let's pay the bills. We'll be back in a few to keep it KTN Prime.